I didn't realize there was so much involved in being a carpenter. There's lots of math, geometry. There's so many different areas you can specialize in. There's roofing, there's interior finish, there's concrete formwork. There's just such a variety of work that you can do as a carpenter.
We have our own Irishman, hunky carpenter Paul.
There's a lot involved in becoming a carpenter. You're not just putting up a piece of drywall, you're putting up the studs behind the wall, you're hanging the doors and the frames, you're also maybe doing some structural work, you have roofs involved, you have foundation work. You actually have to know what you're doing in the building process.
.90 to that plumb cut. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over 3/4 of an inch, half the thickness of the material.
Growing up, my father was a carpenter, and I was always around it. I always saw him building our house, and I always got to help out. There was a lot of different things that got me excited about carpentry. The pay is good for one thing. The hours are pretty good, from 7 till 3.
Yeah, you look like you're just on the line. That's perfect.
Hey Colin, how's it going?
Paul, how you doing?
Come on in. Welcome to this set of Divine Design. I'll just take you into the room we just finished. This star is obviously made of MDF and it was just painted. We nailed it up and siliconed it in place. Okay. And to get the power to here, we ran all the wires behind the crown mold.
Did you ever think carpentry would lead to fame?
Well, I never actually really thought about it as fame. I always thought of it as a part of my job, and it's only Divine Design is only a small portion of my job.
It's a typical day like on the set of Divine Design.
There is no typical day in Divine Design. Every show is different, so sometimes there'll be more challenges, depending on where the house is, how old it is.
Do you have any advice for any apprentices getting into the trade right now?
Yeah, stick it out. The best thing you can do is really just absorb as much as you can and stick it out. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Hey Colin, give us an eye line on it, please.
Try dropping it down.
I'm going to drop it down. Can you tell me when you see it good? How's that?
Yeah. Down just a touch.
It's a real tactile job. You go out there, you touch it, you feel it, you have instant gratification. A lot of people think that you don't have to be smart to get into the trade. You have to understand structural loads. You have to understand volume. I mean, if you're going to order concrete, you have to know how much concrete's going inside that cylinder. There's a lot more involved in carpentry than just putting a nail in the wall and hanging a pretty picture on it.
I'm looking forward to becoming a carpenter. It should be finished within the next year.
This is Colin, he's an apprentice carpenter.
Oh, hi! Same school.
I remember when I was in high school, a lot of people thought, oh, university is the way to go, college is the way to go. There was never really a push to get into the trades like I'm seeing there is now. And kids today have a real opportunity.
Sometimes when I get money in my hands, I'm just dying to spend it. But what we don't take into account is how our purchases affect the environment around us. Shopping is almost like voting. Every time you buy something, you send a message to the manufacturer. And if protecting the earth and the environment is important to you, then you can send that message by eco-shopping. I'm here with the ecoholic from Now Magazine, Adria Vassal. Now, Adria, from an environmental standpoint, what are some important things to consider when we're at the store?
Did you know that the average person uses about 9 personal care products a day? So we're talking shampoos, conditioners, shaving cream, lotion, you name it. And that amounts to about 125 chemicals that we slather on our skin every day. And eventually that ends up seeping into our bloodstream. A lot of that affects our liver, and then it gets back out into the environment, which is not a good thing. So you want to try and buy all natural, chemical-free products as much as you can.
Did you know that 25% of all pesticides in the world actually go into cotton production? In fact, 3/4 of a pound of pesticides are used to make 1 pair of jeans. That's as much as this bag of sugar. That's a lot of pesticides. So I got you penciled in for Tuesday then. Fantastic. See you then. You know, it's getting increasingly hard to live with all our gadgets these days, and it seems to be more and more of them every day, like PDAs, cell phones, and MP3 players. And, well, they all take electricity and batteries to work.
You really want to invest in a good set of rechargeable batteries. Just one of these batteries will replace 300 regular batteries, and that saves a lot of waste from hitting the landfills. And of course, when you're leaving a room, make sure to turn off the lights and turn off all your electronics when you're not using them.
So tell me about the food that we eat.
Well, there's a couple things. First of all, you should try and buy organic whenever possible. And if you don't do your own grocery shopping, then just talk to your parents about making smarter choices. Tell them that buying organic means that you're not getting food covered in chemical pesticides.
So I noticed that there's a lot of packaging that goes into products that we buy. How can we go about reducing our packaging?
3 words: buy in bulk. If you have to buy something with packaging, then make sure that the packaging is recyclable. So look for numbers 1 and 2. Everything else is not recyclable. And you know what? These days, a lot of people are talking about disposables. It looks really convenient, makes my life easier. You don't have to refill it, and you don't have to wash it. But the truth is that it's clogging up our landfills.
Ontario is no stranger to the garbage problem. In fact, the city of Toronto alone produces an entire football field of garbage every single day. That's a lot of garbage. Thanks so much, Adria, for all that great information. You know, I'm thinking about buying some things like an MP3 player and some new clothes, and it's great to know that I have some eco-friendly choices.
Before you do, keep in mind that you should only be buying the stuff that you really need. So think about that before you're out there shopping. And if you do have to buy something, think about going the used route. It's recycling, and it's a really good way to go.
So the bottom line is, with this, you can leave the world in a better place, your body in better health, and your conscience a little clearer. Simple things, big difference. There you go.
Do you want a plastic bag with that?
Nope, I've got my own.